Went on my first blood pressure medication when I was 15, was not overweight, but I had a genetic predisposition to be overweight and eat a lot of white bread, white rice, white pasta growing up. Mom was not one of those Kraft mac and cheese folks. She was fixing real food, but none of us knew back then about white bread, white rice, white pasta, and Coca-Cola and all their kin folks. And I ate a lot of that stuff. And I went on my first blood pressure medicine when I was 8th, 9th grade-ish and stayed on it until I was almost 30. I ended up with acid reflux, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, because after I got married, I went on the Roni diet. Beef Roni, rice Roni, all that stuff. From the time I was 13 forward, I was fascinated with bodybuilding because I was picked on at school. I had an awkward build. I always tell people that I look like a chunky version of E.T., wide at the waist, narrow at the chest, and I got made fun of a ton, even though I wasn't really overweight. I just had that awkward build. Mom bought me the Huskies and, all that stuff that when you're little and the other kids are built good and lean, they make fun of you. They give you a hard time, and that just carried on with me throughout most of my life. It has carried on with me today. It takes a lot of undoing. Takes a lot of unbecoming to get that stuff out of you and realize who you are in the Lord. But nevertheless, I got married to my best friend from high school, and we ended up having 3 children together. And she cooked, she did good. She provided food. The beef Roni, macaroni, rice Roni, tuna helper, beef helper. That's what it was every night. But I was used to Mama's cooking, and she lives right up here. And I would walk up there. She'd say, "You want to come up here and eat something?" And I'd sneak out of the house, sneak through the woods. I'd tell my wife at the time, "I'm going outside to pray." I was lying. I'd sneak up to Mama's and she'd have whatever, especially fried okra and all this good stuff. And then I'd come back home and I would eat popcorn. And I just ballooned up to over 300 pounds. From being little forward, I'd always been fascinated with bodybuilding, but never disciplined enough to try that, and I certainly wasn't eating right. But I collected a lot of information through that. In college, I took a couple of classes on nutrition, became more fascinated. Ultimately, I would go on to get really immersed in wellness. I don't know how many certifications I've garnered through the years, but it was really after all of that self-taught stuff that I really was into. So I would pay attention to what my favorite bodybuilders were doing. And I discovered the term MCT, medium chain triglycerides. And I understood very early on that these bodybuilders eat a lot of food. Now, when I tried that, I just gained weight. I didn't understand that they were chemically enhanced. I didn't understand a lot of aspects of that subculture. I just thought they worked out hard and ate chicken and eat a lot of rice. That's what I thought. But what I discovered as I really took the deep dive, what they do is have to eat a surplus of calories. You have to have a surplus of protein, and you have to have a surplus of carbohydrate in order to put on muscle, and you got to work out really hard. And a lot of them during cutting season, they go through a bulking season, and then the idea is as you put on muscle and fat, then you hold and preserve the muscle and cut the fat off like a sculpture, and you get to see the hard work that the bodybuilder has done through the bulking season, cutting season, and contest. Bulking season, cutting season, contest. They were using this thing called MCT, and they would do this during bulking season to add clean calories and spare the protein for muscle building and spare the carbohydrate for energy in the gym and for the insulin provocation. You need insulin to put on muscle too. So it didn't work for me. I just get bigger. I didn't know what I was doing at the time from a gym standpoint. Later, I would read about their cutting season, and they would ditch the carbs and use MCT. but it was mainly known as a way to add calories. For example, Melissa, if I wanted to go into bodybuilding and put on muscle, instead of 2,000 calories to maintain, I would need 4,000. I would want those calories to be really clean too, so that they're not, if it's not clean calories, then I'm not gonna put on muscle. I want clean, good, wholesome carbohydrate, good, wholesome proteins. And then the MCT would be these extra clean calories that's sparing all that raw material to build my new mass, my new physique. So you would add 2 or 3 tablespoons of MCT to a 500 calorie meal. Now you've got an 800 calorie meal. That's what they were using it for. It was very expensive. Nobody had heard about it. It was like jet fuel for bodybuilders. You'd see it in the bodybuilding magazines. So I got to really studying it, and I thought, I've tried Atkins, and Atkins worked for about a week. And I would also do caliper testing. I would measure my body fat percentage with calipers to see how much of any weight loss or weight gain was fat versus muscle. And on the Atkins diet, I was losing more muscle than I was body fat. And then after a while, you build up a tolerance to that, and you have to eat more and more fat, less and less protein and carbs to stay in ketosis, and your breath stinks, your body odor is terrible. It's not a long-term strategy. So when I got to really looking at this MCT thing and understanding that medium chain triglyceride meant 3 fatty acids that were different in their structure, and they move through the cell wall very quickly, get used as energy, just like a refined carbohydrate, but without any insulin activity. So I thought, this is the holy grail here. If this works and I can use it for myself, a regular Joe, and just cook the lean proteins and the fiber in the MCT, get rid of the olive oil, get rid of the vegetable oil. Wow, this is like just clean calories, and I'm going to create thermogenesis and whatnot. So when I started, I did literally, this is what I did. When I started my final transformation, I started with the reset, a 10-day reset. And then on day 11, I started with a thermogenic boosting supplement from Advocare. That was my supplement regimen. No exercise. Wished I had of. I didn't. I started with a peanut butter sandwich with Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread. How many of you been with me that long? I feel like y'all are my family. Melissa, that's all we had. We had Nature. That was the only bread that fit the formula. It was the only one. Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread, and we had this uh, what do they call it? Now it's called Olay Wellness. It was La Banderita back then. La Banderita. And we had a tortilla. So I started off with, I'm glad there's people that know the story. You can vouch for me. But I started off with peanut butter sandwiches because I had this protocol. I had opened my scripture, and it said, I wish thou were cold or hot, but thou art lukewarm. And I said, that's how I'm going to do this. Perfect days or holidays. I will not, and I'm weird like this. Mentally, don't y'all say it. Don't you say it. I'm mentally, when I go all in, I go all in. It drives people around me crazy. I'm all in or I'm all out. Everybody in my life tells me find balance. I finally accepted I'm just not that guy. So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm all in. So I said, it will not go in my mouth. Until I get this weight off, it will not go in my mouth until I know what's good about it, bad about it, and funny about it, and I know how it breaks down in my body. So I started, because I wanted to get started quick like everybody does. I said, I know if I have this double fiber wheat bread, peanut butter, and sugar-free jelly, that works, because that bread is going to metabolize more like a green bean than it does a bread. The peanut butter is fat, and I like peanut butter, and I can afford it, and it's got a little protein, so I'm going to start off with that. Then I looked at grilled cheese sandwiches because I love those. Got double fiber wheat bread. I got me some category 4 cheese. I'm off to the races. So I started with my supplements and my sandwiches, but within a couple of days, I was experimenting with what we all call red column meals, a lean protein or a shellfish with a roughage, a fibrous vegetable, sauteed and cooked in MCT oil. And I just blowtorched fat off my body. So much so people were asking me what I was doing, and I wasn't trying to teach anything, and I would joke because I didn't know how to explain all that. So I said, I'm eating peanut butter and green beans. And my friends literally began to eat peanut butter and green beans and saying, it's working, but what do you do when you get tired of peanut butter? I said, well, I wasn't really eating peanut butter and green beans. So I just started with those two sandwiches, and I started with those supplements, and then it was lean protein or shellfish and fibrous carb like broccoli, squash, asparagus, okra, prepared in MCT and seasoned on a portion plate, and my life's never been the same. Then you end up teaching this stuff for 20 plus years. So this book is kind of the germination of my journey as it relates to MCT. Another true story. Back when I started this, nobody had heard of MCT oil. This is one of the things I'm proud of. Glory to God. I get to brag because nobody knows it unless y'all believe me. At one point, I had national distributors contacting because I was buying so much MCT oil. Bodybuilding is an underground thing. You don't sell a lot of it. I ended up with thousands of clients. And where I was getting the MCT to sell it to clients in my insurance office, they were selling more of it than they ever had before. They would start with like 10 bottles in the whole warehouse, and they end up having to go to thousands because of our clients. And I would tell my clients back then, some of y'all may remember, one day MCT oil will be a household thing. Everybody will know about it. It is just going to be revolutionary. And here we are today. Nobody has a clue. But I was the guy in the beginning that got that out there in the mainstream. So, and I've gotten a lot of credit for that, and it makes me feel real good, even though everybody knows about it now and bulletproof coffee and all that stuff. I wished I'd got in on that deal. But here we are, and we've got a book, and I think it is the deepest dive on MCT oil that's practical that's ever been produced, that's practical and goes over it in an understandable way for folks. So I'm proud to introduce this little MCT book, not little, it's big, but let me go through some of it and give you a few of the sections, and you can decide if you want to get it. Of course, there's a dedication to my mom. I owe so much to my mom from y'all have no idea what that woman's meant to me. She's mean as a rattlesnake, but I love her to death. I'm just kidding, Mama. You're not mean. So we've got, first of all, we go over MCT, what it's about, talks about my story. I'll give you a little bit of how it reads so you can get a feel for it, and then we'll jump to other sections of it. How MCT oil entered the picture. Now, long before I ever lost weight, I was fascinated by the bodybuilding world. Even though I wasn't living that lifestyle myself at the time, I was studying it, soaking in everything I could about how athletes use food to build and shape their bodies, because I always wanted to be one. I got certified as a sports nutrition consultant, and even though I wasn't applying what I knew yet, I had the knowledge. I always say, it's one thing to know what to do, it's another thing to do what you know. That all changed when I gave my life to the Lord and asked Him to help me heal spiritually, emotionally, and physically. I got serious about putting everything I knew into practice. And one of those things I'd studied was MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides. In the bodybuilding world, MCT oil was used for clean, fast-burning calories. It helped athletes get the energy they needed without having to load up on sugar or store fat. They'd use it to spare their protein, meaning the body wouldn't burn protein for energy, so it could be used for muscle repair and growth. But here's the catch. Bodybuilders used MCT oil to bulk up, to add calories. That's great if you're in a calorie surplus on purpose building mass. But for someone trying to lose fat, you don't want to just throw in extra calories, even the clean ones. I'll keep going. I'll flip over a few pages, give you some more examples. Why you shouldn't combine MCT oil with carbs or LCT fats. Let's break it down. MCT oil is what we call first in, first out energy. That means your body uses it immediately, often within minutes. It doesn't get stored as fat easily. That's the good news. But here's the problem. If you eat carbohydrates in the same meal, like bread, potatoes, or fruit, your body will still prioritize the MCT oil for energy first. Then insulin comes along because of the carbs, and while your body is burning the MCT oil, it stores the carbs as fat. It's like your body says, well, I've already got energy from this MCT oil. I'll just save the rest for later. And save means store, right on your belly, your hips, and your thighs. The same thing happens with long-chain triglycerides, the fats found in steak, bacon, butter, and most oils like olive or vegetable oil. If you eat MCT oil with LCT fats, your body burns the MCT oil right away and sets aside the long-chain fats. If you don't burn those calories off soon after, guess what? They're getting stored too. And it goes on to explain all the science in a practical way behind it. How I recommend you use MCT oil. I go over that and why you should use it as a cooking agent at home if you're trying to lose body fat. I've seen MCT oil change lives, not just over months of consistency, but sometimes in just a few days, when the principles are applied with clarity and intention. There have been times when I've taken folks on a 3-day retreat or even just gathered a small group ready to change. They come in tired, bloated, foggy-headed, frustrated. They've been on the blood sugar roller coaster, struggling with cravings, inflammation, joint pain, low energy, and emotional eating. Here's what I do. I don't put them in the gym. I don't have them working out a heavy workout schedule. I put them on a plate. We start feeding the body with intentional fuel, lean protein, fibrous veggies, water, supplements, and MCT oil. Now, I've done that where we've had some short 3-day retreats. I've had people over to the home. I've cooked for them, intentionally had them do a 3-day program and mark how they feel by just consuming lean protein, fibrous, carb, and MCT. And it's like a brand new person if they're doing it intentionally and paying attention. Gives you amazing fuel. Why this book matters. I go over that. Bottom line, MCT oil is not a fad. It's not a gimmick. It's a powerful tool that can help you boost energy, protect muscle, and burn fat faster, but only when you understand how and when to use it. What is MCT? We even get into a little bit of the science. Terry loves this stuff, but we get into C6, C8, C10, and C12. These are the different types of medium chain triglycerides, and we go over why we use C8 and C10 in our cooking oil. Ours is optimized for cooking. A lot of the MCT oils out there today are not. You never want to get the emulsified ones, and you want to make sure that you're getting the right C. Comparison to olive oil, butter, coconut oil, etc. We explain why that's different. Home use only, how you use it and why you use it at home. Kitchen tips. The fat that fights fat is MCT. Here's some example uses. Faith-fueled choices, why we take this and do it with intentions to serve God. Then we go over what a perfect day is as a refresher. We've got a couple of tips on it. And then we have MCT breakfast idea recipes. Very simple, very easy, the stuff that I would have eaten or did eat from my past journals. Pancakes, you name it's in here. Lunch and dinner meal ideas. Grilled cheese. Hamburger, steak, veggie plate. All of this is with emphasis on MCT. Shrimp Alfredo zoodles. Then you've got build your own plate using MCT oil. Category 1 or 7, the lean meats that we prefer to cook in and with MCT. We go over serving sizes and cook times. Fibrous carbs that go really well with MCT if you're sauteing and keeping things simple. How to build your own plate. Then we have dressings, all the different condiments that I use and turn ordinary condiments into blowtorch condiments. These are some of my favorite. Catalina salad dressing, I always have that in the fridge. blue cheese style MCT, ranch style MCT, Russian style, hot mustard, Italian style vinaigrette, honey mustard, homemade mayo using MCT. Then you have some other, I guess you'll call it sauces and such. Savory spices like buffalo sauce, sugar-free barbecue sauce, hot sauce. We've got sweet and tangy sauces. It's a good way to incorporate MCT and use it as a thermogenic and not have to use some of those really unclean approved dressings. We've got some supercharged meal replacements using MCT, our version of bulletproof coffee, if you will, but done right so that you're not just adding calories for the sake of adding calories. A lot of people go ahead and have their 3 or 4 meals a day, and then on top of that, drink 3 or 4 cups of bulletproof coffee thinking they're doing good, and they just added 400 calories that ain't coming from fat now. So using the Bulletproof Shield and using some of these supercharged meal replacements, you will get phenomenal results. I know because I've done it. That's why I've lost over 130 pounds. GC Control Shake, taking your normal GC recipe and now incorporating MCT since this is an MCT-centric book. Of course, you can use other approved shakes. If you're participating in the I Am Faithfully Fit membership and the belt system, accountability system, I added exclusive pray challenges built around MCT. I added 12 of them. And each one of these pray challenges start like this. This one's called the Balanced Boost. You have your memory verse for the day, just like a pray challenge, your morning prayer, evening prayer, your daily devotion, nutrition, breakfast, lunch, dinner, MCT-centric day, approved beverages. Then you've got a place for your exercise and movement, your supplementation, and then you got a wrap-up page, an activity tracker, where every time that you complete this one, you can mark it down and you can list the amount of weight that you lost. So when you do this pray challenge, you would put in your morning weight, your evening weight, and the next morning how much you lost or gained. Total weight loss with this pray challenge. Every time you do one of these, this counts toward the accelerator program. So the quicker you accelerate, the quicker you get that promotion without having to wait on it. And we just take you at your word. When you get ready for me to take a look at it with you, I will. We'll just do so on the honor system, and then you can accelerate your promotion. I think most of you now are familiar with us implementing that accelerator way to go up the ranks quicker with the belt promotions. The Warrior Within, you've got that one where we list out cinnamon roll shake, lean beef and roasted veggie, herb rub, baked fish, and steamed greens. Works just like a pray challenge. You can eliminate items, but you can't add to, can't edit. We go all the way to number 12 in case somebody couldn't find ones that they liked. Number 12, I believe, if I recall right. Yeah. So number 12, or was it the next one? Keep in mind, this is the digital, not the hard copy. It looks like it is in the hard copy, but just to clarify, hang tight. Let me make sure I'm not just rushing through this and missing it. It must be number 13 in the hard copy, but when we re-looked at it and revisited it before the final, we put in there a final pray challenge in case somebody didn't like any of these where you could build your own. So you have a last pray challenge where you can literally build your own yourself and do it as many times as you want. It gives you a few breakfast options, a few lunch options, and then those charts where you can combine. So that is the book. Lots of detail, lots of practical information, scientific information. The whole reason that MCT oil is one of the most important things in my home. What do you think? Any question or comments? Yep, this is the MCT book. Thanks, Courtney. Thank you, Paulette. Good deal. So, what we're going to do if you order the book in this group, since we're offering it to our membership first, not the fast track folks yet, if you get the book, we're going to do something for you we're not doing for the other group. We're going to give you a 10 because it's all we can give back. We're going to give you a 10% discount. You can use it anytime in the Shibby shop. We're also going, it will show up. This part's not ready. The book's ready, but the other part's not. We're going to put a grocery list in your profile for you to have that's a companion piece to this book. Just some fun stuff in there for you to support you, for supporting us, that kind of thing. Any questions or comments? We have 100 copies. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't get more. We have to buy them in bulk. So, what I mean by that is, let's say that I have 95 orders. I probably will not order any more at this time because the company operates on a thin budget. If we had on a waiting list of 40 or 50 people, we would go on and order another 100. We just have to have enough interest in it that we can order them in a way that we get the price down low enough that you would even be willing to buy it. If you buy like 10 books, you're talking like 400 bucks, and nobody's going to buy that, and we can't make any money either. So that's what we're doing. We do it to help support our mission and our payroll, but we try to offer value and it not be a fluff book. This one took about 2 months to finalize. Are the recipes new or are some duplicates of your other books? Um, I'll be made a liar if I say there are not any duplicates. There was no purposeful duplicates. This was an MCT centric book. There are no purposeful duplicates, but it gets really tough to say there are no duplicates when Blowtorch was trying to teach combinations and there could be chicken and broccoli in this book and chicken and broccoli in that book. So no, I can't say that. That might be that would be a gotcha moment. So there's it's like when you go to our recipe library, there's thousands of recipes, but there's like 10 spaghetti recipes. They're all just a little different. This one was meant to be very simple and be MCT oil centric, the stuff that I started out with. That's why I let mom look at it. My mom does not like complicated recipes. They have to be simple. And one of the things she said about the Blowtorch book was some of them were a little complicated, and these are not. These are really easy, quick, and simple. Anybody else questions, comments? I hope you like it. All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you. Let me know if I can help you. Does anybody have any questions off this topic? While I got you, I know we're doing the detox as a family. The results are phenomenal. We're just getting started with it. We'll be halfway through in another day, but it's going really good. Anybody got anything? All right. Well, I appreciate you. We'll close out in prayer and then we'll see you in the next one. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in the earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Amen. Thank y'all. All right. Bye, everybody.